Welcome to another pulse-pounding episode of Ranting Politics Headline Updates, where we break down the biggest stories with zero filter and maximum insight. Get ready for a wild ride today as we dive into some absolutely jaw-dropping headlines. We're talking about Shark Tank's Kevin O'Leary dropping a bombshell about Canadians potentially wanting to join the U.S. Yes, you heard that right. Then we'll cover the shuttering of a controversial State Department center that's got everyone talking about government overreach. But wait, there's more. We've got Vivek Ramaswamy stirring the pot with his hot take on American culture, plus a deeply troubling story out of NYC's subway system that's raising serious questions about public safety. And if that wasn't enough, we'll wrap things up with some juicy Democratic Party drama featuring AOC and a snub that's got even Jen Psaki fired up. Stick around because this is the kind of episode that'll have you texting your friends saying, "Did you hear about this?" Let's dive right in. In a move that's raising eyebrows across North America, Shark Tank star Kevin O'Leary just dropped a bombshell, claiming that about half of all Canadians are actually interested in Trump's wild proposal to merge with the United States. Talk about a plot twist in international relations. O'Leary's not just talking about a simple handshake deal here. He's floating the idea of a full-blown economic union that would make the European Union look like a high school student council. We're talking shared currency, open borders, and a complete overhaul of how these two powerhouse nations do business together. The Montreal-born businessman says Canadians have been buzzing about this over the holidays, and he's even offering to be the deal maker, planning to head down to Mar-a-Lago to kick off negotiations. But there's one person O'Leary definitely doesn't want at the bargaining table, current Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, who's looking increasingly likely to exit stage left by October 2025. Trump's been having a field day with this, playfully referring to Canada as the potential 51st state and calling Trudeau its future governor. He's making some pretty bold claims, too, saying Canadian taxes could drop by 60% and their businesses could double in size. Plus, he's throwing in the promise of unprecedented military protection. Talk about a package deal. But here's where it gets really interesting. O'Leary's painting a picture of a united North American powerhouse that could stand up to China and Russia's influence at the northern borders. He's suggesting a new kind of passport system, synchronized tax structures, and a complete reimagining of cross-border trade. Whether you think it's brilliant or bonkers, you've got to admit, it's definitely got people talking. The State Department's controversial Global Engagement Center has officially shut its doors. And folks, this isn't your typical government office closure. With a hefty $61 million budget and 120 staffers, this agency went from fighting foreign disinformation to finding itself at the center of a heated censorship debate. Elon Musk didn't mince words, calling the GEC the worst offender in government censorship and media manipulation. And it looks like Congress agreed. They stripped the center's funding faster than a Black Friday sale, leaving it high and dry in the latest National Defense Authorization Act. The center's track record reads like a political thriller. According to journalist Matt Taibbi's explosive Twitter files revelations, they were flagging social media accounts left and right during the pandemic. If you dared suggest the coronavirus might be engineered or mention the Wuhan lab, boom, you were labeled a Russian proxy. They even got involved when Twitter banned Zero Hedge, claiming it sparked disinformation narratives. This shutdown comes right as Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton, the Daily Wire, and the Federalist are suing the State Department, claiming the GEC was essentially running what they're calling one of the most egregious government censorship operations in American history. They say conservative news outlets were branded unreliable or risky, effectively cutting off their advertising revenue. But here's the kicker. While the center was supposedly focused on foreign threats, critics say it went way off course. Instead of protecting Americans from foreign disinformation, they were allegedly spending taxpayer dollars on things like Cat Park, a video game meant to inoculate youth against disinformation. Talk about mission creep. Now, with Russia and Iran still actively spreading disinformation worldwide, some are wondering if we just threw out the baby with the bathwater. But Republicans argue the private sector's already got this covered, making the GEC about as necessary as a screen door on a submarine. As of December 23rd, this controversial chapter in government oversight is officially closed. In a viral post that's got the internet buzzing, billionaire Vivek Ramaswamy just dropped a cultural truth bomb about why American tech companies often lean heavily on foreign-born talent. And let me tell you, he's not pulling any punches with this one. According to Ramaswamy, it's not about Americans lacking brain power. That's just lazy thinking. Instead, he's pointing the finger at what he calls our culture of celebrating mediocrity over excellence. Picture this. While some countries are churning out math wizards, we're still giving more airtime to prom queens than science fair champions. He shared how immigrant parents in the 90s actually limited their kids' TV time, worried these shows were promoting mediocrity. And guess what? Those kids went on to crush it in STEM fields. Ramaswamy's hoping Trump's return to office might spark what he's calling our Sputnik moment, a cultural wake-up call to get America back on the excellence track. But not everyone's buying what he's selling. Conservative commentator Mark Cernovich fired back, reminding everyone that the Woodstock generation managed to put people on the moon. And Nikki Haley jumped in too, defending American workers and culture, arguing we should be investing in our own people rather than relying on foreign talent. The debate stirred up quite the hornet's nest, especially around the H-1B visa program and its role in American tech companies. Ramaswamy, who's set to co-head the Department of Government Efficiency, sees this as more than just a policy issue. It's about fundamentally reshaping how we value and celebrate achievement in American society. The post has racked up nearly 20 million views, clearly striking a nerve in our ongoing national conversation about education, immigration, and what it really means to cultivate excellence in American culture. In a shocking development that sent ripples through New York City, we're learning disturbing details about a horrific subway attack that's raising serious questions about public safety and immigration policies. The suspect, Sebastian Zapata Khalil, has been indicted on first and second-degree murder charges for an act that Brooklyn DA Eric Gonzalez is calling absolutely dastardly. Here's what went down. Early Sunday morning, on an F train approaching Stillwell Avenue Station in Brooklyn, Zapata Khalil allegedly set fire to a sleeping woman in what witnesses describe as a completely unprovoked attack. The details are chilling. Surveillance footage shows him sitting across from the victim before igniting her clothes and actually fanning the flames with his shirt. The suspect's background is adding fuel to an already heated debate about immigration enforcement. It turns out Zapata Khalil was previously deported in 2018, but managed to re-enter the country illegally. At the time of the attack, he was living in a Brooklyn homeless shelter for individuals struggling with substance abuse. Mayor Eric Adams didn't mince words on Fox 5 New York, stating while America remains a country of immigrants, those who violate that trust need to be removed immediately. The victim, who hasn't been identified yet, appears to have been homeless herself, highlighting the complex web of social issues at play here. 3 quick-thinking high school students helped crack the case after recognizing Zapata Khalil from NYPD distributed images. Police nabbed him at Herald Square Station with a lighter still in his pocket. He's now facing the possibility of life without parole, the most serious punishment under New York state law. This incident has become a flashpoint in ongoing discussions about subway safety, mental health resources, and immigration policy. It's also raising hard questions about how cities like New York can better address the intersection of homelessness, substance abuse, and public safety in their transit systems. Let's talk about some serious Democratic Party drama that's unfolding, with former White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki taking her own party to task over a missed opportunity. The Democrats just passed over Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez for the top Democratic spot on the House Oversight Committee, and Psaki isn't having it. In what she's calling a big opportunity squandered, the Democrats opted for 74-year-old Jerry Connolly over the 35-year-old AOC in a 131-84 vote. The kicker? Nancy Pelosi at 84 was reportedly working behind the scenes to tank AOC's chances, making calls to ensure Connolly got the position, even while recovering from hip surgery. The decision is sparking a heated debate about the party's resistance to younger leadership. As Democratic Representative Dean Phillips put it, they're literally keeping their best and brightest from ascending to leadership positions. And with the Oversight Committee being one of the few that actually generates national attention, Psaki argues they've passed over one of their most media-savvy members at a crucial moment. MSNBC's Chris Hayes didn't pull any punches, calling it a moment of genuine madness. Joy Reid went even further, pointing out how this reflects the party's creaky operation, drawing parallels to when Barack Obama had to create his own organization to work around the DNC's old guard. Connolly's trying to downplay the age factor, dismissing it as a false narrative pushed by the media. But with the committee set to handle oversight of the incoming Trump administration, the stakes couldn't be higher. It's a clear illustration of the growing tension between the party's establishment and its younger, more progressive wing. And that wraps up today's whirlwind tour of headlines. From Kevin O'Leary's ambitious vision of a U.S.-Canada merger to the dramatic Democratic Party shakeup over AOC's committee bid, we've covered it all. For more breaking political coverage and in-depth analysis, follow us on X at RantingRP and visit us at rantingpolitics.com. Stay informed, stay engaged, and we'll catch you on the next edition of Ranting Politics Headline Updates.